I want to talk about the right that we feel that we have. You know, whenever something exterior happens, often we claim that, well, it's supposed to be like it always has been. Nothing should change. I can deal with this for like a day or two, but then things got to get back to normal. Well, with the current situation, we are experiencing something where we can't just, ignore things. It's not like a bushfire that we can ignore, it's someone else's problem. Or whatever it might be, depending on the area that you live in. These are very weird times because unlike a situation of war or conflict, there is no nemesis. The nemesis is something that floats in the air, that we can't see. We don't know where it is or who has it. I learned just about an hour ago that two friends of mine have been diagnosed with disease. They're not in any form of risk group in that sense, but still it's kind of getting closer and closer. And even though you hear these ridiculous numbers of how many people that have perished, you often think that it's someone else. It's not me, it's someone else. And when I talk to people, especially people that are older, they're like, I hear these excuses. Well, people are in a risk group, you can die from a car accident or whatever. And I keep saying, well, maybe it's not just what can happen to you, but what could happen through you. What you could be the cause of, whether you know it or not. If you know that you have something that looks like a flu, that you're sick, stay at home. Regardless of what restrictions your government has set up, just stay at home. Interact as little as possible, face to face, and instead interact like this. Because the way I see it, my fear is that after a while, people will be like, but there was no danger. Why did you put all these restrictions on us? Or as we say in Sweden, recommendations. It doesn't seem to affect me. And then you start bending the boundaries, and you end up in a situation where we collectively have contributed to more suffering and a prolonged period of this, call it whatever you like, so social distancing, quarantine, being out of the everyday norm. I think the most crucial or the most apparent way that I have been affected by this is the fact that even though many of my friends are far away, people living in other countries, I don't really have the opportunity to go there. Even though it's not like I would just go on a plane and go visit people. Actually, it kind of sounds like me. But now I really can't. And the infuriating thing about this is that we don't really know what's going to happen and when things are going to get back to normal, when sports will be on TV, when concert will be played, and when we can start visiting people that are risk group or people that are older. We just don't know. We don't have a date set. So I don't know. I try to keep busy. I try to make plans. Even though I don't know whether these plans can be realized, and I keep just sending messages to people, sending messages to friends, and saying I'm thinking about you. Let's do something when all is said and done. How do you feel? Obviously, this is something that is not a bushfire, only in Australia. It's not a famine in that part. It's not a riot in that city. This is something that's more or less everywhere. How do you feel? What do you do to pass the time? There are only so many puzzles we can lay, and also it's not the cheapest hobby after a while. But I'm just concerned that people will stop taking it seriously, and and have these self-defense mechanisms that everything should be as they have always been. So stay safe, stay positive, stay in touch, and then we'll just see what happens. Good talk.